Hello, it's This Epic Disaster. We're back again on just a balmy, hot, steamy, mother freaking
day.
July day in Atlanta. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's up.
We just don't get a break, and we won't for 2 months
at least, and then we'll just get storms.
Although you never know, weather is crazy. We might get there might be a snowstorm next month.
I hope so. Yeah. I would like that.
I on my Instagram, for whatever reason, I don't know how it started happening, but I'm getting these random videos of tornadoes. And you know how I feel about tornadoes.
Yeah.
It's just showing up. And then from that, and I don't want to get into a tornado discussion, but from that, I started becoming like really fascinated by those videos, and I would watch them, and I guess that triggered more stuff. But now I get things about crazy weather things.
Yeah,
and not only that, but like floods or rock slides, or sinkhole, just crazy stuff. It'll show up. I don't know why.
So I understand what you're saying about tornadoes because and you were compelled to watch them because I have thalassophobia.
Okay, you're afraid of a phallus?
Thalassophobia, which is a fear of large bodies of water. Remember, we've talked about that. And I also have submechanicophobia, which is fear of large man-made objects underwater.
Okay.
Anyways, whenever I see like pictures of stuff like that, like a diver who's down working on some kind of big piece of machinery or just pictures of the deep dark ocean, I make myself look at it.
Oh,
because
face your fears.
It's like a rush.
Yeah.
It's like a rush. Like I'm not there. I know I'm not there. Mentally, I know I'm not in danger.
Yeah.
But I get to experience that anxiety. And sometimes it's like, does that make it worse? Does that make it better? Yeah. I don't know.
No, I totally get it. I've always been the kind of person that when I'm scared of something, I'm also fascinated and interested in it.
Right.
So like when I was a kid, and I don't mean this the way it sounds like, but I really got into Satanism, not like eating babies and stuff, but studying it.
Yeah.
Like it was very fascinating to me that this world existed. And so I was really fascinated because I believed in all that stuff at the time. And I know Satan's listening because we found out a couple weeks ago he listens to the podcast, and I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that at the time I believed, and I really got into it.
But we don't know.
I kind of really started digging into it and listening. But it's the same way with tornadoes. I used to just be really afraid of them, and if I had the opportunity to go on a tornado chasing adventure, in a second I would go. I think that would be so much fun.
Yeah.
To see it. And I mean, the videos are great, and just watching the tornado. I've never seen a tornado like from a distance actually form and all that. I would love that. That'd be awesome.
And my big thing is brown bears, and just it's like mirrors your tornado thing. And I'll tell you what, I've been camping where I had to take a
gun
45 Desert Eagle 45 with me. To make sure, just in case there was a big brown bear in Alaska. I mean, they're big, they're huge.
You ever seen a polar bear?
Not in person. No.
You know what a polar bear has that we have?
What?
A white claw. That was funny. That was a good one.
Nice segue.
I know.
And actually, they don't. Their skin is actually black.
I should be paid for that.
No. Anyways, we're not doing a beer today. We're doing a hard seltzer.
Yeah, so I'm going to put something out to our listeners.
Okay.
So we've done a live beer review ever since we've been doing this, even way back for the Life in a Kill podcast.
Yeah.
We do a live beer review, and we're not really running out of beers, but we kind of are. Like I go to the beer store, and I just see tons of stuff that we've already done. Mm-hmm. But I've been thinking, so we talked about not doing cocktails. Because we might have a cocktail that is mixed a certain way, and someone else, there's no way they can mix the same cocktail.
Even if we give you the recipe, it's not going to be the same.
No.
Yeah.
So we might say, this cocktail is fantastic, and then you drink it, and it tastes like crap.
Right.
Because it depends on who's making it, what brand of liquor you're using, all the stuff.
Sure.
And so it's too subjective. But if you just go buy a can, then it's going to be about the same anywhere.
Right.
So, but I'm wondering now, like what we're doing today, we're drinking.
We are drinking White Claw hard seltzer. It's a Surge. It's a blackberry flavor. It's 8% alcohol by volume. What's great, though, is there's only 2 carbs and only 160 calories.
And anybody could walk into the store and buy this. So
Right.
if we rate it, if we taste it,
then
and
you
we
can go get it.
Then somebody going to have the exact same thing that we had.
Yep.
So my question is, should we open up our live beer review to things that aren't necessarily beer? Now, over the course of time, we've kind of done that. We've done some ciders and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, generally, on a regular basis, should we do? Because there are some wines and mixed drinks and stuff that come in a can.
Oh, we should do framboise.
Well, I'm just saying,
framboise.
things that come in a can that people could buy. Should we be able to do that?
Yes.
So let's let our listeners decide if you want us to do it. Yes
Be
or no.
able to. It's our podcast. We can do whatever the hell we want.
We can, but we're doing it for the listeners, so we should let the listeners kind of decide and let us know. So if every listener says you should not, then why would we go, yes, we are? That doesn't make sense.
That's
so
true.
we want to get the input from them.
It smells really good.
So blackberry, it's got the thing I like about it is the pull tab on the top is purple.
It is purple,
Yeah.
yes.
All right, let me see what it smells like.
You smell mine.
Oh, wow,
because
it definitely smells fruity.
Yeah.
I'm about to sneeze, and I don't want to sneeze.
Don't sneeze in my drink.
I don't know why I'm going to sneeze, but anyway.
That'd be
I'm going
gross. Oh, because you just stuck your nose up to something that was fizzy.
No, it was before that. Anyway,
Oh.
I was afraid I was going to sneeze when I did that. It smells like Kool-Aid when I smell it. It smells like grape Kool-Aid, even though it's blackberry. Okay. No, you know what it really smells like?
What?
Cotton candy. That's what it smells.
Does it?
Do you think so? Have you smelled it?
Well, of
you
course
doubt
I
it?
smelled it.
It smells like cotton candy. All right, I'm going to taste it. Here I go. Taste it.
All right, taste it. I like it, personally. Rick is not a fan. Based on his facial expression,
I'm going to drink it. We'll see what happens.
he's going to drink it.
We'll see what it's like at the end of the show.
I don't know why you didn't get yourself a glass. I can't imagine what drinking out of a can is like.
I don't mind cans. I'm fine with it. I've drank
Okay.
out of can my whole life.
Ew.
That's fine. It
Ew.
doesn't. I mean, I like a bottle. I'd prefer a bottle, but can's fine.
Okay.
All right. I do want to mention this.
What?
So we talked about this on the podcast a few times. It's been a source of stress for me. I've gotten really busy. I have an art gallery. I have
Yep.
another business. I
Yep.
do this, and then
Yep.
I've just gotten so busy, and I got behind on posting the podcast onto the website.
That's right.
And it's been causing me so much stress. The last one that I posted was like way back in April.
Yeah.
It was like episode 212. I believe
Right.
that's what it was.
Right.
And we're on this episode is 227.
So there's a lot of
There's
episodes.
a lot. So this morning I got up, I sat in my chair with my laptop, and I updated the website. Every episode is now on the website.
Wow.
I still have a little bit of work to do. I've got to put images on there. That's what takes so long, is I got to find images that kind of work. And you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But I like to. It looks good. But everybody can access every episode from the website if you want to. And I'm going to try to keep it up. I might fall back a week, but I'm going to try not to fall back. I don't even want to fall back a week.
Right.
But I'm going to try. And then the other thing that I want to try, and I say something about that on the website, I want to start blogging. I want to start doing some more, just kind of communicating with the listeners.
That sounds like fun.
I think we should both do that.
Okay.
We could talk about, if we're talking about something here, like even tornadoes. I might talk about some experiences I had with tornadoes. We had an experience in Chattanooga 2011 during the big southern
time
tornado outbreak.
Yeah.
Like wiped out Tuscaloosa.
No, it wiped out Roswell.
Well, that was, but Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
It flattened it.
That's true.
All of that happened at the same time.
Yeah.
And we were living in North Chattanooga, and there was a tornado confirmed down on the bridge area, which
right
was
by our house,
just like a mile or a mile and a half down from us.
And we're sitting on the porch, and the sky is just blinking, blink, 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 and it's like green.
Yeah.
And then a tree. So our street had a hill that went up behind us and a hill that went up in front of us.
Way up behind us.
Yeah. And a tree fell behind us, and a tree fell on the other side of the street as well. And nobody got hurt.
Nope.
The trees didn't hit any houses. And I was just like, you know what? I have to go to bed.
Yeah.
And we had this huge tree in our backyard. And I'm like, if it falls, I'm dead anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bed.
I just remember you didn't take it that seriously. You had never seen the tornadoes, and you were just like, "What's it going to do to me?" And I was just like, "It's not the tornadoes you have to worry about." And then the trees started falling, and then I think you got it. But I could just remember the power went out.
Yes.
For like 3 days there was no power.
Right.
And I just remember because there was no power, it was so quiet.
It was very quiet.
And I could remember we would sit on the porch, and we would just sit there, and you would hear the quiet, and then all of a sudden you'd hear.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a tree just breaking and falling, and then you would hear.
Yep.
And then I remember hearing people going, "You all right? You all right?"
Yes.
And
Yeah.
there were chainsaws going.
And everybody's going, "Did anybody get hurt? Did anybody get hurt?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an interesting experience.
It was shocking. We also, in that same home, we had another experience, the biggest snowfall in Chattanooga that I recall.
Yeah.
And there were people sledding down our street. And we walked down to the coffee shop. I remember, but it was just like one of those days. It's like we can't go anywhere.
No.
You can't drive anywhere.
I love those days. You don't get those in Atlanta.
Snow days are fun.
Yeah, it's rare that we have anything like that. But anyway, I just want to throw that out. The website's updated. If anybody has any ideas or any suggestions of things you want to see, I put some of our old videos on there.
Nice.
I'm going to put more of them on there, and I'm going to keep it up, and we can blog. We can talk to our friends out there. I think we should do more of that.
Let's blog and vlog and all the logs.
Everything that sounds like og.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Let's also play a game real quick.
All right, what are we going to play?
We're going to play Would You Rather.
Would you rather?
Would you rather?
All right. Am I throwing the...
You're going to throw first.
You
I'm
always
going to
go
read for
first,
you.
yeah.
No, that's not true.
It is true.
It's not true.
I'm feeling red in my hand. Whoops, that was an accidental drop. That wasn't real.
Sure.
I'm feeling red in my hand. What do you think?
I don't know why. I'm not feeling your hand.
Drop something. Not two things.
You got a green and a blue.
All right. The blue is at your foot down there.
Okay, I'll get it.
I think the green landed first.
I think you're right.
So green's what I had last week. We
All
both
right.
had green last
So
week.
green is ethics and intellect. Would you rather have no short-term memory?
What was that question?
Uh-huh. Or no long-term memory?
What's it? It's like short-term memory goes when you have Alzheimer's, right? I think that's what's going on me.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, it's like everything's going on me. Boy, I don't know. What's the cutoff? Where's the cutoff for short and long?
So here's the deal.
He asked.
He asked. Here's the deal is I do training for our new folks at work, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things I do, I walk them through what we call our culture of documentation, writing things down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's not in the ticket, it didn't happen, those kinds of things.
Right.
And one of the slides on my little PowerPoint presentation is 12 words in a row, and I give you 60 seconds to look at those words. And then I change it, and then I ask you what were the words. And the most that anybody has ever remembered immediately afterwards were 7.
Okay.
And then after we go through a couple other things, we go back and it says, okay, what were those words again? And it comes down to they're like, oh, and they can only remember like 3 or 4.
Okay.
So that's short-term memory. That's how that works. And that's why writing things down is important, which you and I both know. But yeah, so long-term memory, I think, is when you sleep, your brain is able to store those things. I guess.
Okay.
So, like, you remember being small with your sister, with her whispering in your ear, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you remember what you had for lunch last Wednesday?
No.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, which would you rather?
But, having said that, I don't remember everything when I was small either. I mean, I remember certain events.
Right.
And, I probably can remember certain lunches as well. I can remember.
Sure.
I'm thinking of a lunch particularly right now when I was at Cheesecake Factory, probably in 2006.
Was it
7?
Was it good?
I don't remember what I had. I just remember having lunch.
All right. Well, pick one.
I'm going to go with long term. Why not?
You'd rather not have long-term memory?
Yeah, but again, I said, what's the difference between short and long? Where's the drawing line? So here's a little thing I used to do in college. This is such a college thing to do. And first, I went to a Baptist college. Keep that in mind.
Yes.
And you would, not in these exact words, but it's like, is touching a penis bad?
No.
Let's pretend like you're a young Baptist girl. Your daddy's a preacher.
Oh, if I touch your penis,
yes.
is it bad?
Is it bad for you to touch a penis?
Only
young Baptist girl.
I guess so.
No, it's yes. It's
you'll
go to hell.
Oh, well, no. What if you have a son and you have to teach them how to pee?
That's totally different. I'm talking about. I'm trying to get you in my room. Is it wrong to touch a penis? And you would say,
yes,
it's wrong.
Yes.
And then I would say, is it wrong to touch a belly button?
No,
it's not wrong to touch a belly button. And then the thing is, where's the line
between the belly button
and the penis that you cross with your finger? That's a sin, and
suddenly,
that's not a sin.
It's wrong. Yeah.
So it's just like, really, it's just like, let's go down. Is this wrong? Is this wrong? Is this wrong? And the next thing you know, she's touching my penis. This did not work for me ever. But in theory,
it's a great idea.
I thought it would work. I couldn't get a second date.
Do you know what I love? And you just reminded me of it. It's something that I haven't seen in a long time because I'm old and I haven't had sex in years.
A woman touching a penis?
Well, me touching a penis. But you know that little line of hair from the belly button down to the... Oh, I love that.
At your age, it's all curved, and it goes under, really far under. So be prepared when you see it again. It's not like it used to be.
I used to love that, though.
But anyway, so that's kind of the same concept of what you're asking me.
Okay.
Where's that line? Where's that point of short and long?
Where's that demarc? Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering. Because I don't know what short-term memory is. 2 years short-term memory is 1.
No,
I don't know. So we got to find that cutoff line. In theory, let's
say 24 hours.
What?
Yeah.
If we're doing 24 hours, then I got to go. I want to keep long-term memory.
Okay.
Because then you're only going to forget one day.
So you ever see that movie 50 First Dates?
So here's the thing. It's not important. Never mind. I'm actually like setting this up like it's going to happen. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I'm going to pick long term now. All right, we'll stop right there.
All right, it's my turn.
Now you throw one blue.
It's purple.
Purple. All right. Purple is food and ingestion. Would you rather drink a 16-ounce bottle of blue cheese dressing? It's not a bad thing.
No.
Or a 16-ounce bottle of maple syrup.
I'm going with the blue cheese.
Yeah. My wife hates maple syrup. I like it okay.
Maple syrup is fine in small doses, but a 16-ounce bottle of it, when I was little, I drank an entire fifth of amaretto.
Okay.
Which is an almond liqueur.
Yes.
And I think I woke up with my tongue stuck to the roof of my mouth.
It's not a
and
wonder.
I have a feeling that if I drank that much maple syrup, the same thing would happen. I'm going to pass.
This is not quite the same thing, but sort of, I don't know, it's coming to my head because this is what's going on with me right now. So my last year in Chattanooga, I won't say I had a to hell with everything attitude, but I was kind of done.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, all right. I wasn't hanging on to a lot of stuff like I did. I was kind of ready to go.
Yeah.
And I didn't have I was in a good space. I wasn't like strung out.
Sure.
But I think I indulged in a couple things. It just wasn't the healthiest thing. And to me, that's not drugs.
Okay.
I just want to tell you. So I can remember the last year I was there, I started stopping at whatever that market was, to get an cola icy. You know what an icy is?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a frosted whipped drink.
Like a Slurpee.
Yeah, and you can get it in different flavors.
Uh-huh.
And cola, God, that was good. And it's so full of sugar.
Yeah.
And so it's not healthy. I didn't really want to get it, but I was doing a job out right close to that market, and I would just stop there every day and get one of those gigantic.
You get the really
icy.
big ones?
Yeah. And then I would go back and I would enjoy my icy. So when I left Chattanooga, I broke that habit, really.
Good. Yeah.
I just started it again.
No.
I have to quit.
You have to quit.
It's like drinking a cup
sugar.
of maple syrup.
Yeah,
there's
just
no
sugar.
difference. Yeah.
That's all it is. It's ice and sugar.
But it's so hot in Atlanta. It's like close to 100. And it's just like,
so
I want
big cold water.
It's not cola icy. It's so tasty. So anyway, I'm trying so hard to break that. I got to break it.
Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
The water's not only better for you, but it's more refreshing because the more of that cola Slurpee that you drink, the more you're going to want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sugar will dehydrate you in a heartbeat.
It's true.
So do better.
Let me talk about this. We've talked a little bit about stress and stuff. I want to kind of bring this up.
Segue.
Yeah, in sort of a way. So you know that this is a couple of things that are sort of tied in together. I've mentioned this on the show before. I kind of got addicted to these walking videos.
Yeah.
You can see them on YouTube.
Through different cities and stuff,
It happens in different cities. I'm more interested in the ones that happen in Japan.
Right.
And there's a guy, his name is Ramblack.
Ramblack.
Ramblac. So look him up if you like that, because his is all Japanese. He lives in Japan.
Okay.
I can't remember. I think he said he's Ukrainian or Romanian. I can't remember which.
Okay.
It's been a while. But he speaks fluent Japanese. He's lived there forever. I don't know what he does. I guess he's got a job there. But he does these videos, and they're amazing. And he just did one. It might be my favorite one. Walking through Tokyo at night, and he goes past these little alleyways with all these restaurants. I could just smell it looking at it. It's just so amazing.
Yeah.
And I the first time I watched it, I was like, I have to be there. I need to be there. I don't know when I'm ever going to go.
What would be the first thing you would eat?
Ramen. I would have I would have
Yeah.
a bowl of ramen, and then Japanese ramen is a little different from our little packages of ramen.
Right.
A little bit, but I mean, yeah, it would be fantastic.
What kind of ramen?
I don't know. I don't even know if I care. Yeah, I mean that's
because you don't eat meat.
I don't eat the pork or the meat. Yeah, but the seafood, I'm sure.
That sounds so good now.
I just think it's going to smell wonderful no matter what you're eating. But here's what's weird, and watch these videos. I'm just going to say, look, if you're interested in this topic at all, look up the guy, Ramblac, Remblac, and like, I think within the week, he did a video called Tokyo at Night. Watch that. What's amazing is Tokyo, as a city, is close to being like New York City. It's
huge. And
but it's
crowded.
It's not what you would think, though. It's so quiet. There's almost no traffic. It's amazing. It's
well, they have embraced public transport.
Everything. It's a different city, but the feel is different. But anyway, I love every bit of it.
All right, I'm gonna watch one tonight, and I'll look up that particular person.
Yeah, but I was watching.
But I know what you mean about the smells.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's gotta be good. But one of the things that also we've talked about this. There is a Japanese TV channel on my cable called NHK. It is like medicine for my mind. And I was thinking about it today because I watch a lot of murder on TV.
We do.
We watch
a lot of murder.
And after a while, something about it just gets on my nerves. I just need something. I just need to not watch it.
That happened to me yesterday. I was watching Forensic Files on it just kept going. And then I was just like, you know what? I need to turn this off. And I went directly to like Great British Bake Off. I was like, I need something happy.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, so Forensic Files is a little different from me, even though it deals with murder. It's about the science.
Yeah.
So they don't always concentrate on the pain and the blood and all the stuff.
And
whereas
the loss.
ID Channel and some of these other true crime channels, I mean, they get kind of not always gory, but just sad.
Yeah.
Just seeing the people die and all the stories and people crying and stuff. I don't know. So it's interesting, but I like the science part of it.
Yes.
That's amazing. So I love Forensic Files. I can watch that hours. But when I need a break, so NHK, Japanese TV, and I was telling my wife today, I was just like, it's almost like going to this other world. It's like, and I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just like another planet where everything is beautiful and wonderful. There's no problems. And they always talk to these people who are smiling, who are making the world a better place.
But you know they have problems too.
But that's what I was going to say. It's just an escape from all the problems. And then the former Japanese minister was assassinated this week.
Yeah.
You never see anything about guns. You never see anything about politics on this channel. They do have a news I think, every 30 minutes.
Right.
And you'll see a little bit of politics and stuff there. But this is the first time since I've been watching it for probably 2 years that they've actually covered a lot of politics that happened in Japan because of the assassination. And they just went through an election, so they're showing all this election stuff.
Right.
It's so weird.
It's
because
different.
it's just like your escape land is suddenly kind of like you relating because there's politics and death.
Right.
But overall, everything about it is so... It's just a way to escape. It's just like everybody's happy. Everybody's doing things to make the world a better place. And there's like all the Japanese singing groups are singing. It's just a wonderful little land that everything is perfect.
It's your own private Teletubbies.
Yeah, it totally is. Everything about it is like, it's like the land that's run by Hello Kitty.
Right.
So they've got like, they're showing the election results. And in America, you see, there's a red line that has the totals and a blue line that has the totals. And that's what you see.
Yeah.
On here, it's like bubble gum. Every color. It's
pink
like, it's Skittles.
Yeah.
It's like now the Skittle results. It's just like every color, and then it tells all the who's ahead in the polls. It's totally unlike anything that you see here. It's just this happy little land where all this
well,
good
then
stuff
why don't you live in Japan?
And it smells like ramen everywhere you go.
And it smells like ramen.
And you can walk across the streets and not get hit by taxi cabs. It's just amazing.
And I wanna stop at this little place and get a little tempura shrimp on a stick, and then I want to stop over here and get a little bit of ramen.
Yeah.
And then I want to stop over here and get some sushi.
Yeah, totally.
And just street food.
Yeah.
I mean, street food here is a little dicey depending on where you're at.
Yeah, maybe.
But street food, I don't know. For some reason, it's like... For some reason, I think street food in other countries is cleaner, which is probably wrong.
It probably is.
It's probably the opposite.
I've seen Andrew Zimmern eat street food in Philippines.
Yeah.
And there's a dish in Philippines. It's not a dish. It's an egg that has a chicken in it.
It's called a century egg.
A little embryo egg.
Is that right?
Yes. They eat the entire thing, the little chicken that's in it, everything, they eat it.
Yeah.
It to me, mentally, it's one of the most disgusting things. I can't imagine it. But it's one of the foods that Filipinos love. It's like one of their national foods, and they say it's incredible. And it tastes like chicken, I guess. I just can't imagine doing it.
You're eating a fetus.
You are. It's just like... I don't know. I can't do it.
But we eat eggs.
You're eating eggs, but most of the time the eggs are unfertilized.
True.
They're raised in a place that they won't get fertilized.
True.
And so it's a little bit different. I mean, I've had farm eggs, and I grew up eating eggs that potentially could have been fertilized.
Right.
But it's just totally different. You're not actually eating. I ate chickens back then. So what's the difference in eating an adult chicken and a little baby chicken or an unborn chicken? I don't know. It's just the thought of it is just, I couldn't. Ugh.
So I don't know if it's right or not, but a century egg is, obviously it's not buried for a century, but it's like, I don't really remember. I just know they're gross.
Yeah.
I don't think there's actually a chicken in it, like a fertilized embryo in it, but it's old. It's like a rotten egg.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at how much spoiled food plays in other countries, and I can't think of too much in America where it happens. I think, what's the Minnesota fish?
Gefilte fish?
Yeah.
No, that's a Jewish thing.
Okay.
Are you talking about...
lutefisk or something. Is that what I'm thinking?
I don't know.
Lutefish, something. Anyway, it's I think it's a fermented fish.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
Yeah. So, like, you learn a lot from Andrew Zimmern. I used to watch that show all the time, and I can remember him going to Iceland, and they would eat rotten shark. So they would take the sharks and other fish, and they would put them in these barns. They would like coat them with salt.
Yep.
Tons and tons of salt.
Yep.
And they would hang them in the barn, and they would just rot, and then they would eat it. And one of the reasons I love Andrew Zimmern is he can describe a taste better than anybody I know.
He's got good adjectives.
He can make you know what he's eating.
Right.
And I love that that's why I just got addicted to him, because I didn't have to eat it, and I can know what it tastes like. But he would talk about how it was so gamey and tasted rotten.
Yes.
But everybody eats it. It's what they had to eat. They didn't have refrigerators. They didn't have ice. If it's Iceland, the only ice they had, they couldn't preserve their food, so they had to learn. It's the same way with salted pork in Appalachia. It's just like they didn't have refrigerators. They had to do salt and hope that it didn't spoil and kill anybody.
And there's a big thing of that whole salted fish thing is not abnormal. It's there were some cultures that would coat their fish in salt, wrap it in something, and bury it.
Yes, that's one of those too in Iceland. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then pull it out, months later and eat it.
Yeah.
And that's because there's this thing called permafrost. Mm-hmm. So, like in Alaska, you have permafrost. If you dig down deep enough, it's going to be frozen, and it's going to stay frozen forever.
Okay.
It's like a built-in refrigerator.
Yeah.
And that's where you could keep things.
Okay.
But it's still exposed to the elements, so you had to cover it with salt and wrap it in something. And then you have like places in the South Pacific where they do basically the same thing, but it's not permafrost. It's really super hot. Mm-hmm. So they wrap it in banana leaves or whatever and put it in the ground, and then they build a fire over top of it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've seen it many times.
Yeah. And I mean, they're all still alive.
Yeah. Well, you learn to cook. You learn, it's just like, you think centuries of people living, and they learn by going like, okay, well, they died. That's not the way we do things.
Right.
Let's try a different thing.
Let's do something different.
And then those people died, and then they said, let's do something. And they're like, oh, they didn't die. That's the way we do it now.
And that's why, if you want to go back to our show a couple weeks ago, that's why in the Bible it says don't eat shellfish.
Oh, I thought you meant we proved we died on our podcast.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
We don't eat shellfish and don't eat pork, because those two things spoil very easily and can kill you very easily.
And now, I don't want to get into a philosophical religious thing, but it's just like, if God knew that and he's saying don't eat it, it's like, why did you make it then? But the reality was, Moses was smart enough to know this was hurting and killing people, and they were still doing it. So he was like, I'm just going to tell them God said it.
Just don't eat it.
Don't.
And I'll just tell you, it's coming from on high.
Yeah.
It's not me. I'm the genius here, but he said don't do it.
Yeah.
So,
and he said, give me some cash.
That too. Yeah. I need all your money.
That's right.
So, okay, I'm going to use you really quick if you don't mind.
Wow. That hasn't happened in a long time.
Many, many years. But I'm going to use your dream interpretation skills. Because, by the way, folks, if you have a dream that you can't interpret on your own and Google is just jacking with you, send it to us at thisepicdisaster@gmail.com and Rick will interpret it for you.
I'm a professional.
He's really good.
Well, sometimes I am.
My dreams are pretty straightforward, so I have good luck. But this dream was odd.
All right.
So you know how in a dream, when you're in a house, that house is supposedly you.
Or your consciousness.
Or
right.
your consciousness. So I was in a house that I've been in before, and I cannot tell you if it was in real life or in a dream.
Okay.
But I recognized the house.
Sure.
And it was very 80s. And by that, I mean like McMansion 80s. It was like beige carpet, oak railings, very just bland.
Okay.
Very bland house. And like taupe walls, it's just very meh. And I was there and I was showing my mother around this house. And I'm showing her the kitchen, I'm showing her the living room, and we go upstairs, and I'm showing her these bedrooms. And then I look over to my right, and there's another set of stairs that I don't ever remember being there. And I was, that's another thing is when I looked over right before that, we were looking at where to put the nursery.
Okay.
Because there was going to be a baby.
Yeah. From you?
I don't know.
We don't know. Okay.
There was going to be a baby, though.
Yeah.
And we were looking to put the nursery here, and I looked over to the right, and I saw this other set of stairs. But I couldn't figure out how to get there because there was this wall, and then there was just this railing. And I was like, well, let me go investigate.
Yeah.
So I go and I look, and there's a very thin space to get between this little half wall and the stairs, and right there is a crib. And in that crib is a baby.
Okay.
And the little alcove is only big enough to fit this crib.
And did you ever find the source of the baby? Is it somebody you know, friends, family,
Nope.
yours?
No idea.
You don't know.
Just a baby in a crib. And normally if I see a baby in a dream, I like try and, take care of it. This time I just saw it.
Yeah.
And
Observing.
Yeah. And then I turned and I was able to go up the stairs. Now, the first room that I come across up these stairs, which is, I thought we were on the top floor of the house already. Okay. So we go up these stairs and there's an art studio.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful, even in my dream, I was like, Rick would love this.
What was the rent? Do you know?
No. But it was gorgeous. It was like easily cleanable floors. They were very tile. Yeah. It was very white.
Yeah.
And it was stocked with paint. And there was a desk and a drawing table and easels and all. It was ready to go.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, this is awesome. And of course, in my dream, I was like, Rick would love this. And Mom stayed down. She didn't follow me. I'm on my own by now.
Right.
And then I see another set of stairs.
Yeah.
And I go up those stairs, and I'm suddenly in a new owner's suite. It's got the same decor, very 80s.
Okay.
And by that I mean bland and beige. And it's a huge owner's suite. It's just big enough to it could be a studio apartment or it could be two studio. It's huge.
Yeah.
And I see people in the bed. There's a king size bed and there's two people in the bed. And I notice over to my right, everything is always over to my right.
Okay.
I notice over to my right, there's an ensuite, the bathroom. And I go and I look, and it's just a super basic bathroom. It's got a toilet and a sink, and it's got a shower with the slidey doors. It's very 80s.
Sure.
And then I come back out of the bathroom, and there's this weird clock next to the bed. It's not a clock. It doesn't look like a digital clock. It doesn't look like an analog clock, but I know it's a clock.
Yeah.
And it's very bright, and it's blue and yellow. And it almost looks like a recording device, but it's a clock. I know it's a clock.
Yeah.
And it's very striking. And I go over towards that side of the bed, and it's two women in the bed, I notice. And I kind of touch one of them. And they're wearing sleeping masks, but they're not sleeping masks. They're more like masquerade masks. So they have eye holes, which defeats the purpose for a sleeping mask. But I shake one of them and I wake her up, and she's got black hair and black eyes, and she's very pale. And I shake her and I wake her up, and she says to me something along the lines of, "Thank you for waking me up. Now I can go back to sleep."
Okay.
And she lays back down. She puts her mask back on, and she just stares at me.
Okay.
She never shuts her eyes.
Wow.
Her eyes just stay open the entire time. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Because this is creepy. So I just go back downstairs. I go through the art gallery, and I go back downstairs, and that's where I woke up.
Wow.
So what do you think?
I'll tell you what I think.
Okay.
Everything in the dream was you.
Yeah.
Everything was you. Your mom was you.
Yeah.
The baby was you.
Yeah.
The woman in the bed was you.
Yeah.
This dream is about anxiety of getting old. It's about not knowing what is going to happen. And I think it's really interesting because right before we started recording, you were talking about changing your hair.
Yes.
And you're talking about changing appearance. You're talking about not just changing, but also in a way going back to your past. You haven't had that hairstyle in a while.
Right.
Not saying that has anything of significance. You're allowed to do that.
Sure. But
I'm just saying these are things you've been wrestling in your mind. So the staircases are options in your life.
Okay.
And you're confronting, are you going to be your mom?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you going to start over like a baby? And you just start over. What do you get? You get an art studio. You can be an artist. What if you're a full-time artist?
Okay.
That's an option.
Yeah.
That was at another step or another staircase. The clock is time. It's ticking. It's always there. Whether you know it or not, it's always moving. It's always going. You're counting down. You got to make a decision quick. And I think the person in the bed was you dying. You dead. You weren't dead. She had her eyes open. But it's just like you becoming dead, sleeping. And I think that the couple in the bed represents a sexuality, probably, and I don't mean this, I'm not being trite, but just like you feeling like you don't have a connection with that. Somebody else is doing.
And that's another thing is that they weren't cuddled.
Right.
They were sleeping apart.
Yeah.
And the clock, I didn't mention this either, but the clock had this sense of danger to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that makes sense.
Yeah, it's an anxiety dream. Mm-hmm. No matter what it looked like or felt like, it's all anxiety. You're facing choices. You're at a point in your life where you're trying to decide what you want to do next. Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be at the next stage in your life? You're approaching a milestone age-wise, and it's just like, am I going to be my mom? Mm-hmm. Am I going to be like a little baby, start all over, carefree? I don't think it has anything to do with you having a baby.
Right.
It's you being new again.
Right.
All new choices, everything. And that's what it is. It's just discovery. It's just like you recognize there are all these staircases in your life, all these options. What do you want to do? I think it's interesting that one option was this gorgeous art studio. It's almost like it's calling you.
Yeah.
And you left it to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a struggle within yourself of what do you want to do? It's just a lot of different choices and a lot of different symbols of who you are and what you want to be. And there's probably more to the dream that you don't remember, but yeah, that's what I see.
Those were the parts that stuck with me.
Yeah, to me, I feel like it's an anxiety dream. It's real easy to go, why is my mom in this dream? It's like, it wasn't your mom, it was you. It was your fear of being your mom. It was you as your mom. And when you went to see the baby, your mom didn't follow.
Right.
It was a part of you that you were leaving behind. So either be that person or be a new person. You can either, and it's kind of like, genetics, habitual lifestyle, because your families tend to be, a shoe salesman.
Sure.
Not as much now, but used to in the past, a shoe salesman.
You pass on your
son would be a shoe salesman, and it just kept going.
Tailor,
yeah. So it's just like, are you going to just be your mom, or are you going to be something totally different? Are you going to wake up and be something different, or are you going to be dead? I'm interested in the second person. Who is that?
I have no idea.
I know, no connection whatsoever to the second person.
I don't even know what they looked like. I just knew they were there, and I knew it was a woman.
And the masks, which I think are interesting, that's like appears to be sleeping but really awake.
Yeah, but masquerade masks.
Yeah.
So it's like pretending to be something that they weren't.
Yeah, but it's also like when you should be asleep to something, you're really awake to it.
Right.
So I just feel like, I don't know, there's a lot of symbolism that's very interesting.
It was interesting. And thinking about it, I do remember early on in the dream, there was a definite anxiety showing because, I was showing my mother around the house.
Yeah.
And
you're introducing, you're giving up at that point.
Yeah.
You're giving up who you are to be that person. So in other words, you're not really showing your mom. You're showing that settled, and this is nothing to do with your mother.
Right.
You're showing that sense of settlement or becoming standard.
Yeah.
Having no choices at all. I'm just going to settle into who I was meant to be all the time.
Right.
Which is my mother. I'm
Right.
going to just be my mother.
Right.
So you're inviting that attitude into your life.
Into my house.
You're
Yeah.
showing. It's just like an owner. It's just like you're showing them you want to move in.
Right.
You're showing them that. So there's anxiety about that.
This is how we do this. This is where this is. This is where that is. But doing all that, I do remember early on in the dream in the downstairs areas, there was much more anxiety.
Yeah.
And the farther up I went, there was less anxiety.
Well, I mean, symbolically, obviously, it's kind of like reaching for the heights or this. Yeah. And that's why wonderful art studios up there, because in some ways that's the highest in your mind, in your ideas. That's what you would love to do, is just be an artist for the rest of your life, and then maybe go to another staircase and find somebody in your bed.
That'd be nice too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like those are choices, but some of the choices are creepy. I think it's interesting that you had no connection to the baby at all. You don't know whose it was. You don't even know if it was yours.
Nope.
You didn't hold the baby.
Nope.
You didn't. It's just the baby was a choice.
Yeah.
In some ways, like your mom. Your mom is a choice.
Right.
That's what he said.
Are you talking about my dad?
I don't know. but those they're again. It's just like you were testing out the house, not your mom.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in this. I know there's a joke here, but I don't mean it as that. You're testing out your mom too. You're testing out the mom, the baby, the girls, all of that. The art studio. You're going up and you're looking as if you're looking at the house. These are the choices, and these are the choices for the remainder of your life. It's it's definitely an anxiety dream. Even when it didn't feel like it, I think there was a certain amount of anxiety involved.
Well, I mean, that's just my normal state of being. So
yeah, but there's a reason for it usually.
Yeah.
Not always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of those dreams that I knew was going to stick with me. When you wake up and you're like, that was a weird dream, and then you just go back to sleep, and then next day you're like, I think I dreamed, whatever. This one I woke up and I was like, okay, that's not going anywhere for a while.
Well, I think you could look at it and take it as a hint. It's just like, you really, your mind, your consciousness chose an art studio, a full-time artist is kind of like the height of what you would like to be.
Yeah.
Well, you may not be able to be that now. You got to pay bills. You got to do stuff. But you could be more of that than you are. And maybe there's a certain amount of freedom that starts gradually, the baby. You become more of a baby. I wonder if the baby, how close it was to the art studio.
So the baby was in this. I could draw it for you, but no one else would be able to see it. So again, we were in what I thought was the highest level of the house.
Yeah.
And I noticed this staircase going up, but I couldn't figure out how to get there. And there was just this little tiny turn, and then this alcove where all that fit in that alcove was a crib.
Okay.
That's it. And the baby was in that crib, and it was a dark wood crib.
Yeah.
And then you could get to the stairs to go up.
Okay.
So you had to pass the baby to get to the stairs.
Well, I think too, just again, it's all about choices. It was all demonstrating choices, and the staircases were your different choices. Like, which path do you want to go? But I would say if you take anything from it, ponder those choices and decide which of those choices. I mean, getting old is not going to be fun. You can make it fun,
sure,
but it's the reality is. And I find myself doing this all the time. It's just like, because I'm always a dreamer. I'm always just like, oh, one day I want to have a restaurant.
Yeah.
And those things are always in my head. They have been since I was a kid.
Same.
But now when I do that, I find myself going, that's stupid. I'm
never going to happen.
Why don't I just give that up?
Yeah.
And then I go, no.
It could happen.
But then I go, no, it's okay. Give it up. I mean, I was thinking the other day, I was just like, I got my big bass guitar. I'm never going to be in a band. I'm not going to play in a bass. I'm not going to play bass in a band ever. It's not going to happen. I can still have fun doing it or whatever, but I'm not going to do it. Why waste? You may disagree with this, but it's just like, don't put your energies on that. Go ahead and allow yourself to say, okay, I'm not going to do that. Here's the things I am going to do, and then put your energy onto those things. Some people do that automatically. I just do 50 million things, and so I need to kind of limit a few of them. But the reality is I'm not going to play running back for the Miami Dolphins ever. I'm not going to.
No.
When I was 16, maybe I could have worked out every day.
Probably not.
No, I know, but I'm just saying the possibility existed at that time, but it doesn't now.
No.
And no matter how much I go, I show you I could do it. That's ridiculous. It's not going to happen. Go ahead and allow that to go away from your life.
When you daydream,
Yeah.
which I know you do because we all do. When you daydream like a power dream, what are you doing?
I don't really know what your question is.
So let me explain mine and maybe that'll help.
All right.
So when I picture myself in a powerful position in a daydream that makes me feel happy and powerful, I'm riding a horse at full run.
All right.
And that's my power. So what is yours?
Well, I don't really know. I will tell you that, like, a couple nights ago, I was watching one of those walking videos, and I was so energized. I was like, why am I not there? That's where I feel like I should be.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to go to Japan. I've always wanted to spend time in Japan. I can't. I don't have the money. I don't have a job there.
Right.
And probably, now that I'm married, my wife would have to have a job there as well. So things are probably not going to, I can still visit.
Sure.
And who knows? I mean, something could happen that
You'd have to get in a plane, though.
Well, okay. I mean, that can happen. But, like when I was young, single, in my 20s, I could have just gone there.
Yeah.
I could have taught English. I could have found something. I could have had a life. I'm not really looking for that now. It would be fun to go there for a year or 2 years in a chunk of time. But it's probably not going to happen. But I can still go and visit.
Yeah.
But I do have that feeling. Other than that, most of dreaming has to do with what I'm doing now. I really enjoy what I'm doing now. I would just like to make money doing it.
That'd be great.
You start a business, you don't have that, and it's just like, really? It's just like how you're concerned about how to buy gas to get to work. It's like, I'm 60. Why I should have not have that anymore. But it's just like, yeah, but I just started a new business. So
Yep.
the business is really getting better, and it's so much more promising than it was when we started. But you just have to put up with crap. It's just part of
You just have to wait. You just have to stick it out.
Yeah. Like last week, my wife was like, we're building a business. We're working towards it. You just have to realize this is crap, and eventually it'll get easier. But right now, and that's where being married is great, because you get at least a little bit of support. From if you're single, you don't know, you could end up being homeless. I don't know how I'd do it. So I couldn't do it single, I don't think.
Well, you and I have something in common, which is as soon as we try something, we think we should be awesome at it.
Yeah, a lot of people have that.
Yeah.
There's so many things I don't do just because I don't want to be bad at it.
Exactly. We think that we're perfectionists. So we think that as soon as we pick up a guitar, or as soon as we sit down to do programming, or as soon as we should know what we're doing.
But you have to give yourself the right to not be perfect. And that's kind of changed my life a little bit. So when, like, even in art, sometimes I'll try something new in art, like a new technique, a new medium, something, whatever. And when I do it, I go, I'm not going to be good at this. Like I started learning to oil paint last year.
Yeah.
Not something I've ever done much. And I got okay at it. At times, I think I did much better than a beginner. But
you already had a background in art.
Certain things I knew.
Yeah.
But still, it took me like a week to do what other oil painters would do in a day. And that was frustrating. But I learned so much. But I could not have done that if I did not, before I was like bargain with myself. I was like, I'm going to allow myself
to be crap,
to be bad at it. And I've done that with poetry. I've done it with a lot of things that I've experimented with. I've just said, I'm going to let myself be bad at it for a while. And that kind of changed my attitude about doing it. And then the next thing I know, I'm like, wow, now, I may not be the best at it, but I'm okay at it. I can accept where I am, and you have to kind of do that.
One of my favorite lines from one of my favorite movies, The Adam Project, is you have to allow yourself to be at something before you can be good at it.
Yeah.
You have to give yourself the opportunity to learn rather than just throwing your hands up and giving up because you aren't perfect.
Yeah.
Nobody is perfect at anything that they pick up for the first time. You've never seen a toddler pick up a pencil and write poetry, before they could spell their name. These are things that we need to learn, and some of us get a little frustrated with that because we there's that thing in the back of our head going, "You need to be perfect. You need to be perfect," and we're not.
No, but one thing that's really good that you can do, and it's a little exercise that's helped me out, is like everything that you do, there's something brilliant in it. Everything. But what you choose what you focus on, because the brilliant thing, if you're taking a picture, if you go out doing photography, the brilliant thing might be that you captured one leaf perfectly in focus.
Yeah. And I love that. I love it when that happens.
Everything else might suck.
Yeah.
And that could be the one thing. And if you allow yourself to focus on that and go, you know what? I did that perfect. I got to find out what I did there and
do it
enlarge it in a sense, so that everything is, it allows you to appreciate the little things that you do. If I'm sketching, the proportions may be completely off, but then I'll be like, look what the gradient I did. And I went from dark to light so smoothly there. The hand looks horrible. No, most people, when they look at this, are going to say, that's crap.
That's crap, yeah.
That's okay. I'm not doing it for them. But I did a wonderful gradient there. I know how I did it. Now I can take that and adapt it into the next thing I do. And then maybe I do 2 things good.
Yeah.
And then the next time, wow, I did 4 things better. And then the next thing you know, you're an expert. You're working incredibly, and that takes some time to do. That's what labs and workshops are for. It's what grad school and everything else is for. But you do it. You just do it. You study it. Whether you're learning a language, whatever, things will pop in your head. You're playing scales on just everything. You become an artist by just doing it over and over. Like we talked about, every day. Do it every day.
This is an inspiring conversation.
Well, I hope so. I mean,
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, just again, for me, the key is, because there's a lot of people who are those kind of perfectionist people, but the key is you just make a bargain with yourself and just say, I'm not going to show this to anybody. This is just for me.
This is mine.
I'm going to do it. A lot of times, this is an exercise that I recommend. Sit down and do some shitty work.
Just
Seriously.
do it.
If you're painting, if you're drawing, make the worst that you can possibly make. Get them out of the way, because then you're not ever going to be that bad. The things that you do when you try are going to be better. So you're stepping up. I will frequently just get my sketchbook and just do lines and just scribbles and nothing. Just to get you free. It's an exercise. You're freeing up. But sometimes in that, you'll find some magic. You'll be like, oh, wow, that's kind of cool.
Did I ever tell you that back in art school when I think it was 1992, yes, I'm old, at UAA, I took art classes, and eventually I just moved completely to photography. But before that, I was taking drawing and painting and sculpture and all those kinds of things. And one of the best things I have ever created in my entire life was a pencil drawing of my foot. So we were sitting in class, and I had my portfolio.
Yeah.
I had my pencil, graphite. That's it. And I was sitting with my legs crossed in a tall chair, and you could see my foot. I could see my foot, and I was wearing like those Keds. Remember Keds? I was wearing a white pair of Keds. And I just drew my foot. Yeah. Just from visualizing it, and I drew it. It was the best drawing I've ever done in my entire life. Yeah. And that's the last time I've ever done anything like that.
And the thing is, if you saw it today, you'd probably think it sucked.
No. I remember it exactly, and it was awesome.
Memory, though, but I'm just saying if you saw it. I will write things that I think is brilliant, and then I'll look at it a year later, and I'll be like, what was I thinking?
Oh, yeah.
How could I ever think that was good? I will do painting sometimes that I just think, I'll see it a year later and I'll go like, I didn't do that. Where did that come from? That wasn't me.
Who was that? Yeah.
I seriously, I've got paintings hanging in my gallery right now that I can't even believe I did it. It doesn't seem like I did it. I know I did, but it's just like I don't paint like that.
Well, first, you don't remember doing it.
Right.
Second, it's like it's not even a thing that you do anymore.
Right.
And third, it's like, can I just paint over that? Yeah.
But I just like, I'll write poetry that I think is brilliant, and then I'll read it a year later, and I'll just think, this is crap. It's horrible.
I went through
a lot of writings. I'll do that.
I went through a bunch of. I used to write poetry like it was coming out of my ass in high school.
Wow, that's a very specific kind of poetry.
It was very specific.
There's a certain audience for that, though.
And I would write poetry, and I had notebooks, stacks of notebooks full of poetry.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back through it years later, and I was like, this is just bullshit. This is teenage
or close to it
crap. It's just crap.
Yeah,
because it was definitely coming out of my ass.
Yeah.
And it was like, first of all, I was on drugs. Second of all, I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what I was doing. And
all that equals tragedy.
And you read it, and you're just like, burn that.
Yeah.
Burn it now.
All right. Well, I think we're done.
Okay.
Are we done?
Thank you for my...
It didn't have anything to do with your ass poetry. I'm just saying...
Ass poetry could be fun.
Yeah.
But thank you for my dream interpretation. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take that with me and think about it.
Yeah, I think you should. Mm-hmm. I think you should. Mm-hmm. And see if you dream any of those characters. The bed characters are intriguing. I think they may come back in your dream again.
Probably.
The second person, I think that second person might be you. And I said everything. Everybody in the dream is you.
They're all me.
That one person is you that you haven't connected with.
Yeah.
So it's just like the sexual partner you haven't connected with. You don't have. So it's a part of you that you feel is unexplored, and I think that person may come back in your dream at some point. Until that, we should say goodbye. I would say, listen, if you want to reach out and send your dreams to us or just talk to us, thisepicdisaster@gmail.com is our email address, and we're available 24 hours a day pretty much. And just send that. We have new shows every Monday that comes out, and you could subscribe, and we wish you would subscribe, because then you don't have to wait for me to put it on the website,
because that could take months.
There are people who waited for like 3 months.
Speaking of which, I know you just updated the website, but did you update the beer thing?
No, that's not even online because we're so far behind on that. But that's a big project.
Yeah.
At some point we'll do that. And today we'll rate this not beer,
it's a seltzer.
Seltzer. I do want to say we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. You can follow us on all of those.
And we're going to be more active.
We got to try to
coming
get
up.
better.
We got to be better because it feels like we're ignoring you, and that's not the look we want to put out there.
And this is just a preview. We'll be talking about it again very, very soon. But we do have, we do try to do an annual Halloween thing.
Yeah.
Last year we planned it, and then it fell through because of COVID and a couple other things.
Yeah.
But we're planning early this year, so we're going to have a live thing we'll talk about.
We're going to do an in-person event in Atlanta.
Some we'll talk about to you soon.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's go back and talk about this
drink
beverage.
Yeah.
White Claw, hard seltzer, Surge, blackberry. What do you think?
Oh, I love it.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
What's funny is that I've never enjoyed seltzer water, just in general. I've never enjoyed club soda or anything carbonated, really. Carbonation to me gives me gas.
Yeah.
And I never really enjoyed it. But I found these hard seltzers, and what I liked about them is that they're very low carb, low calorie. And then the Surge one, most of the hard seltzers you'll find are either 4.5 or 5% alcohol.
Yeah.
These are 8% alcohol.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't have to drink as many, and they're not expensive. It's like $15 for a 12-pack, just like you would any other beer, really. I enjoy them. They come in 4 flavors. There's a blackberry, there's a cranberry, there's a blood orange, and a lime. And the only one that I really don't care for very much is the orange.
Yeah.
But yeah, I dig it. I drink it a lot.
I just want to point out, this says hard seltzer, and then it says spiked sparkling water. I just want to point out that seltzer and sparkling water are two different things, but they've got them confused. They've pointed out both here. I would say this to me tastes a little more like seltzer. Seltzer has a little bit of a bitter, or what I would call baking soda in water
like
taste.
Like a tonic taste?
Yes.
Okay.
It's kind of like that, I believe. And sparkling water is just water, pure water.
With carbonation.
With carbonation in it. And I think they're two very different. Tonic water, I don't know the difference in tonic water and seltzer.
Tonic has a lot of sugar.
Okay. Anyway, just want to point that out. So there you go.
All right. So what are your thoughts on it?
I hated it. It's one of the worst things I've ever put in my mouth. Here's what I think. So blackberry. So
I bought you a whole 12-pack.
No, take it home. So this, I would say like last month. Remember we had the Smirnoff grape. No, we didn't have grape.
We had the ice, the original.
That's right. And I've had the grape before.
Yeah.
Smirnoff. I actually like that a lot. So to me, that does what this is acting like it could do. That's a much better drink, and I would drink that. I would drink 5 of those before I would drink another one of these.
And those have way more carbs, way more sugar,
true,
way more calories.
Yes.
So the whole point of this hard seltzer movement that's going on right now is people who are trying to be health conscious.
Okay, but if it doesn't taste good, and to me it doesn't. Now I like LaCroix. I like the grapefruit LaCroix. It has no alcohol, but you can mix it with alcohol.
Sure.
But I like that. It's a good taste. Tastes like grapefruit. I'm in for it. This I can't. I think I have this much left.
Well, give it to me then.
You can have it. I couldn't drink anymore. It's too baking soda-ish, kind of bitterish. I don't like this. It tastes sweeter than it is. If it doesn't have sugar in it, I don't know. But it's just not for me. I couldn't do it. Cannot do it. Nope.
What do you think your wife would think of them?
Yeah, she might like them. I don't know.
Okay, because I did buy a whole 12-pack just for you.
I wish you wouldn't have bought them for me, because I can't drink another one. I wouldn't drink. Now, we could take them. That's one thing.
To the gallery.
To take them to the gallery. There may be people who really like them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they would go at the gallery.
Oh, yeah.
For special events. But anyway, I'm giving it a 0.5. We are allowed
0.5.
Yeah, we aren't allowed to do half, right? We can't do half.
You hated it that much?
I totally did. It's one of the worst things. One of the worst drinks. I don't like it at all. Remember we did twisted iced tea?
Oh,
it's like that.
Yeah.
I can't do it. And
that was so sweet and over the top.
It was one of the worst teas I've ever had.
Yeah.
And I like tea. I
love tea.
Yeah, that was not a good tea.
Okay, I'm going to give this a 4.
Wow, this might be a record of the biggest span of difference.
I think so.
Of any drink we've had.
I think so.
But they actually market this towards women. I wonder what it is. Maybe it's just something that women like more than men. I know that sounds horrible, or not horrible, but it just sounds weird. But maybe there are men who like it. I don't know. I'm not judging. It's just not for me at all. No. I can't have another one. Before I came up here, I tried the orange, and that didn't work either. So
you poured it out.
Yeah, it wasn't good. But I didn't have a black.
What did you say the orange one tasted like?
The orange one tastes like orange St. Joseph aspirin crushed up and mixed with seltzer water. That's what it tastes like. This, I would say, I prefer the flavor, the blackberry flavor. It actually tastes a little bit like grape to me, which I like.
Yep.
But I prefer the flavor over the orange. But all in all, it's crap. I can't take. No, it's not for me. So there you go. Good luck if you like the White Claw. And I'm sorry for the sponsorship, White Claw.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
That's never going to happen.
Sherry would love a jacket if she can wear around or something.
Headband. They'll send me like a sweatband.
Yeah, I can't do it. What was the, what was the, Zima. Remember Zima?
I love Zima.
Yeah, Zima was better than this, but it still was not my favorite.
So they came back out with Zima a couple years back, years back. It was like limited edition.
Uh-huh.
I went to the store and I bought all the Zima I possibly could. Yeah. Do you know what Zima is the best for?
Enemas?
Breakfast.
Oh, okay.
Hangover breakfast.
Yeah.
So
I read that they've invented a hangover pill. They think it might actually be the pill. So they're testing it and everything.
There are 2 pills that you can buy at Kroger right
really?
now.
Hangover pills?
Hangover pills, yeah.
Really? Like a government what is it? FCC?
FDA.
That's the communication thing. FDA, yeah.
You can communicate your hangover all day long if you want to. But no, it's just like, I mean, it's basically goodies in a capsule.
Yeah, this one is supposed to really, really work. For some reason, I'm thinking it's a Japanese company, which is interesting tie-in. But anyway, all right, so there you go. That's what we think. All right.
Thank you so much. This has been fun. I've enjoyed this show.
Okay, well, I hope everybody else did too.
Me too.
All right, we will see you next week at this time on the show. Oh, I think we got a good show next week. I'm not going to tell what it's about. It's going to be fun.
Okay.
You know what it's about.
I do.
All right, well, we'll do it next week. All right, we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
This is a Violet Jester Media podcast.